everybody is happier. The executives are happier.
Sounds bad, but
the customer,
they're gone.
I think I worded that.
No, but what comes to mind, the term
customers
that comes to mind is the concept of a humane system, right? I mean, a system is there to have output and outcomes and quantitative, schmontitative, but at the end of the day, it's run by human beings, and human beings have needs and wants, and if you can accommodate both, I think you have synergy. Let's use that as a segue. What are you two up to now that you've relieved yourself of some of your responsibility, and you're no longer at PMI having to carry the brunt of that? What are projects? What are you working on? For those people who are listening and say, hey, I want to get a hold of these guys, we'll put your linked information on LinkedIn. What are things that you're working on that you want the rest of the community to know?
Sure. So I'll start. My only pitch I would make is these days. So out of the blue, Mike Nettles wrote me a reference on LinkedIn. I didn't ask for it, and it almost brought me to tears. It's like it made my whole career worthwhile, because I told you how much respect I have for this man. So read that referral. That's all I need to say about me. So as I was, after we were acquired by PMI, I learned to fly, which was a lifelong dream. So I became a pilot, and that's pretty
awesome.
Cool. I got time now to do more reading and, a bit of golf, a bit of curling. If you're not from Canada, maybe you don't know what that is.
Yeah, I'm familiar with curling.
Yeah. So, and then I'm doing some volunteer work as well within the Calgary community. I'm available if the right gig came along, part-time. I'm not interested in a full-time engagement at this point in my career, and I'm available for speaking engagements.
So speaking, mentoring, stuff like that. Yeah. Excellent. Scott?
So when I left PMI, I tried to follow my own advice. So for years, I always told people, when you're making a major career change, if you can afford it, take 6 months off and try to figure out, what you want to be when you grow up. So I tried that. And so after a few months, I got bored out of my skull. So I decided to go back to school and get another master's. So I went back to school for a master's in AI. And I made that decision about a month before GPT 3.5 got released, right? So it's like I was all excited, learned some really cool stuff, and get updates and things I'd been doing in the 90s, and it's all like I've got a deep data background, so it's all about data. But so then GPT 3.5 came out, and everybody went nuts, right? And we're still sort of in that nutso phase, like all the hype cycle stuff. And it's like, oh, I don't want to go through another hype cycle, right? Like, been there, done that too many times. Not really interested. So anyway, so I did the master's. I just graduated a while ago, and now I'm working on a book on continuous data pipelines. So basically applying Disciplined Agile in the data space, which I've done many times, but finally decided to write an updated book about it. And so I'm working on that. That's hopefully going to come out early 2026. And delivering some workshops on that topic as well, and doing a little bit of consulting, mostly around applying DA strategies in the data quality space, because most organizations are really struggling and need to get out of the traditional mode is the easiest, and need to fix the problem, need to do the work. That's the unfortunate part of the message.
Well, we'll definitely put your whatever contact information you're willing and wanting to share in the below. We have a tradition also in the podcast. I always look at Rico and Nelly at about this time. By the way, I think, have we broken a record yet? Yeah, Nelly's giving me the dirty eye now. They're still awake, so that's a good sign. I think I might have had more fun than they, because this is what I eat and breathe. I use them as my test group, though. You probably understand that, because they have they're creatives, and they have lots of creative project experience, but it's kind of very very agile. But what I also do is I kind of give them the opportunity to ask questions. Do you have questions? Hold on, now you come. You don't have an excuse now. Over here. I need the audience to see that these people actually exist. So This is Nelly.
Hi. So the question is, apart from IT, are there any kind of companies where you would say Agile works best or doesn't work at all? What are the circumstances where it works best and where it doesn't like really go down to the marrow?
Okay.
Apart from IT.
Well, so Agile in general works best when you need, particularly in creative organizations. Fundamentally, I think creative stuff like, graphics work, music work, writing work is fundamentally iterative in nature and Agile and has to be very collaborative and stuff like that. So
I think a lot of it's intuitive though, because they don't take the predictive methodology because it's just so far away from the reality.
Yeah, exactly. And you need to be, particularly when you need to be experimental, right? You've talked about product development a lot. And it doesn't have to be a software-based product. It could be physical products and or combinations thereof. So I think anywhere where you need to experiment and where you just don't know what your end users or your customers want, then you need to work in an agile manner. So that's most situations. It really is, and it gets down to
your answer is that you can use a semblance of agile in every situation.
Pretty much, yeah. Well, I've never run into a situation where we couldn't help them get better through some application of agile or lean or combinations thereof.
I think agile is just that is more. I think agile is more in tune with the dynamic nature, with the openness of possibilities. And if you try to frame everything, you're creating a rigid framework that doesn't allow you to maximize opportunities. Yeah.
And it's interesting. So years ago, I worked for IBM, and I had the privilege of interacting with the leader of one of the Mars landers. I can't remember which one it was, but that was so. I went in thinking, that's got to be highly predictive because it's all science and physics and math and stuff like that. And no, it was very agile. And that project, which was successful, they actually started with a traditional approach because they believed it was physics, and then obviously physics and math are important there. But they had this interesting problem that they had to hit a planet 200 million miles away with a probe that was the size and weight of a Volkswagen, and they had to get it into orbit, and then from orbit they had to slow it down enough to land gently on Mars. Like, it's not about slamming something into Mars. That's just like fire a bullet at it, right? You actually had to land. So they're running simulations and running experiments, and there's no control, right? It's like, because it's like a 20-minute time lag, speed of light type stuff. So you can't tell the probe what to do, right? You can tell, oh yeah, okay, good. You're good to try to land. And then the probe does its own thing. And then, eventually it comes back with, yay, I landed successfully, or you hear nothing. And then you figure out that it's landing. That was a phenomenally, so what I would, and that was an example that I'd been using for years as here's where I wouldn't do Agile. Because it's obviously very scientific. And then, I talked to the people who actually did that work, and I say, no, it was pretty agile. It was a hybrid.
Yeah, if you get into the details, the multitude of how do you solve the micro problems, I think, definitely.
Yeah, and the really interesting thing was they didn't go agile until they needed to. Like, it was, they tried the traditional way that intuition tell you should work. And then when they couldn't make it work, then they went at risk.
Yeah. Which is also kind of a form of discipline, Yeah. Great. Rico, do you have any questions? No, he's good to go. Guys, you broke the record for time. I don't care. I told you guys up front. I was thinking of giving you guys a safety word like pineapple so that you could. But had I given it, I think one of you two would have probably said pineapple a long time ago. I hope this was as much fun for you as it was for me. Probably not, but I had a blast. I want to say thanks again so much for your time, for your wisdom, for your dedication to the craft, for your charitable contribution to the overall community of project management. I know it sounds very, very over the top, but I wouldn't say that if I didn't mean it. So thanks for everything, and I hope that this podcast will be a fair and decent representation of who you are as people.
Oh, thanks for the conversation. This was great.
It's been a nice trip down memory lane.
Yeah.
Well, I hope we get to meet sometime in person.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay. And I'll definitely reach out. I might hit you up and see if Mike Nettles is willing to share some of his experiences about Disciplined Agile, so that we get a practitioner. I think that might open up some more ears and eyes.
Yeah, he absolutely will. I'm sure.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay,
guys, thank you so very, very much.
Our pleasure.
Take care.
Thanks.
All the best.
Okay, thanks. Bye.